Good morning, students. Welcome back to our 5th edition of our English online class. Today we'll continue learning more about subject, object, possessive, and reflexive pronouns. Open your books to page 373 so we can begin our class. Today's objectives are: Number 1, to improve our grammar comprehension skills. And number 2, to identify and use possessive and reflexive pronouns. In our last class, we focused on subject and object pronoun. So let's review today what we learned in our last class. It says, circle the pronoun in each sentence. Write O if the pronoun is an object, and write S if the pronoun is a subject. They already did number 1 for you. It says they collect sports cards. They is a subject pronoun. Remember, if it goes at the beginning and before the verb, it's a subject. So let's do from number 1 to 6 together. Remember, you can pause the video if you want to work independently and then check your answers. Number 2, the pronoun is me, and it's after the verb, so it's an object. Number 3, we, subject. Number 4, us, object. Number 5, you, subject. And number 6, you, object, because it's after the verb lent. I hope you got all your answers correct. Let's continue with our class. As we said in our objectives, today we will focus on possessive pronoun. A possessive pronoun is a pronoun that is used to indicate possession or ownership. Here are some common possessive pronouns that we used. We use mine, yours, his, hers, ours, yours, theirs. Keep in mind that some of them end with the letter S because it's showing possession or ownership. Now, this type of pronoun, a possessive pronoun, is very special because it has 2 categories. It has a possessive pronoun and it can easily be confused with a possessive adjective. But in this lesson, we are focusing on a possessive pronoun. A possessive adjective describes a noun. But in this lesson, we are not working with describing a noun. As you can see, the possessive adjectives are different from the possessive pronouns. Here we have mine, and here we have my. Yours, your. His is the same. Hers is different. Ours, our. Yours, your. Theirs, and their. It's very different. So what's the difference between possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns? Easy. A possessive adjective describes a noun. And the one that we're learning today, which is a possessive pronoun, doesn't have a noun. This book is mine. Is this yours? This isn't my jacket. It's his. The car is hers. So we are not focusing on possessive adjectives. We are focusing on possessive pronouns. So don't get confused. Now, we're going to do a guided practice on possessive pronouns. You can use your chart on page 373 to find the list of possessive pronouns if you need them. Okay, so let's begin. Number 1, we bought that house last year. It is, if we are talking about we, then what possessive pronoun do you think we have to use? Correct, ours. Number 2, this car belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is a plural pronoun that we have to use because we're talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So, this car belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It is theirs. Number 3, I think I saw John drop his pen. I think it is John is a male, so we're going to use a male pronoun. So it's his. I invite you to do number 4, 5, and 6 in your English notebook. You can pause the video to work by yourself and then check your answers. Alright, so number 4 is mine, 5 is ours, and 6 is yours. Now we'll learn reflexive pronouns. If you see my emoji in the corner of the page, you're going to see a mirror reflecting myself. See, I just used right now a reflexive pronoun. The mirror is showing Miss Iliana. That means me. But since it's showing the reflection, when it goes back, it's showing myself. So a reflexive pronoun shows back to the pronoun. For example, her, herself, him, himself, me or my, myself, you, yourself. Now, there's an important thing that you need to learn. When we are talking about more than one, you change the F and you replace it for a VES. For example, here we have 1, 2, 3. So instead of saying ourself, you don't say ourself, you say ourselves. Alright, don't forget that. Now, let's work together on some exercises to review our content from reflexive pronouns. Here we have some 8 sentences. We have to figure out if the sentences are correct or they have a mistake. If they have a mistake, you're going to do like in number 1. You're going to scratch down the mistake and then you're going to write on the top the correct answer. You can do this in your English notebook by just writing the answer. If you think it's correct, you write correct. If you think it's wrong, you write the pronoun that had to be used correctly. Remember, you can pause your video if you want to work independently and check your answers later. Alright, number 1, it was already answered. Number 2 was correct. Number 3 is correct. Number 4, themselves. See, I wrote here a VES and I dropped the F. Number 5, yourself. Number 6, itself. Why itself and not himself? Because a robot is a thing. So for things, remember we use the pronoun it. And in this case, since it's a reflexive pronoun, we use itself. Number 7, ourselves. Number 8, yourselves. Alright, so today we focused on describing or identifying and learning what's the difference of a possessive adjective. Remember, a possessive adjective describes a noun, but we're not using that one today in this lesson. We learned how to use a possessive pronoun. They show ownership or possession. And a reflexive pronoun, remember, they reflect as a mirror, so we use them with the suffix self or selves if we are talking about a plural. I would like to remind some students that are missing homework, last week's homework, page 372 from number 1 to 4. Remember, you have until this week to present the last week homework. If not, you will lose points. See you soon, guys. Remember to keep your distance in order for us to be safe at home. Take care. See you in our next class.